The life of the Spanish classical guitarist Francisco Tárrega. Francisco Tárrega was a Spanish classical guitarist and composer who was born on November 21, 1852, in Spain. He is considered one of the most influential figures in the history of the classical guitar, and his compositions and techniques continue to be studied and performed by guitarists around the world. Tárrega was born into a musical family, with his father being a guitarist and his mother a pianist. He showed a strong interest in music from a young age, and his parents recognized his talent and encouraged him to pursue a career in music. At the age of 5, Tárrega began playing the piano, and at the age of 10, he started learning the guitar. His early musical education was primarily focused on the piano, but he soon became more interested in the guitar and began to focus on it exclusively. He studied with local guitar teachers and also taught himself by studying the works of renowned guitarists such as Fernando and Dionisio Aguado. At the age of 17, Tárrega moved to Barcelona to further his musical education. He studied composition and counterpoint at the Conservatory of Barcelona and also continued to develop his skills as a guitarist. During this time, he was exposed to a wide range of musical styles, including Spanish folk music, which would later influence his own compositions. In 1874, Tárrega moved to Madrid and began performing in concerts and recitals. He quickly gained a reputation as a talented and innovative guitarist, and his performances were well received by both audiences and critics. He also started to gain recognition as a composer, with his first published work, Mazurka in G major, that was released in 1876. In 1880, Tárrega moved to Paris, where he continued to perform and compose. He was greatly influenced by the French guitarist and composer, Adrien-François Servies, and incorporated elements of his style into his own compositions. During his time in Paris, Tárrega also became acquainted with other notable musicians, including the famous pianist and composer, Isaac Albéniz. Tárrega's time in Paris was cut short when he was forced to return to Spain due to health issues. He settled in Granada and continued to perform and compose. It was during this time that he wrote some of his most famous works, including Recuerdos de la Alhambra and Capricho Arabe. These pieces are still considered some of the most challenging and beautiful works for the classical guitar. In 1885, Tárrega moved to Barcelona and became a professor at the Municipal Conservatory. He also established himself as a sought-after guitar teacher, with students coming from all over Europe to study with him. He developed a unique teaching method, focusing on technique and musicality, and many of his students went on to become successful guitarists in their own right. Tárrega's compositions were gaining popularity, and he started to receive invitations to perform in concerts and festivals all over Europe. In 1892, he performed at the Paris International Exhibition, where he was awarded the prestigious Order of the Legion of Honor by the French government. In 1902, Tárrega moved to Valencia, where he lived for the rest of his life. He continued to teach and perform, and his reputation as a guitarist and composer only grew. He also collaborated with many other renowned musicians. Tárrega's health started to deteriorate in the early 1900s, and he was forced to reduce his concert schedule. However, he continued to compose and teach until his death on December 15, 1909, at the age of 57. His last words were, "I am dying, but my guitar will live forever." Tárrega's legacy continues to live on through his compositions and his influence on the classical guitar. His works are still widely performed and admired by guitarists around the world. He is also credited with revolutionizing the technique of classical guitar playing, introducing new techniques such as the use of the right-hand thumb for melody and the use of the left-hand pinky for fretting notes. Some of Tárrega's most famous compositions include Recuerdos del Alhambra, Capricho Arabe, Lagrima, and Adelita. His compositions are characterized by their technical complexity and their beautiful melodies, often inspired by Spanish folk music. In addition to his contributions to the classical guitar, Tárrega also played a significant role in the development of the modern guitar. He worked closely with the Spanish guitar maker, Antonio Torres, to improve the instrument's design and sound. Many of Tárrega's students went on to become influential guitarists and teachers, spreading his teachings and techniques to future generations. In conclusion, Francisco Tárrega was a pioneering figure in the world of classical guitar, whose contributions to the instrument and its repertoire are still celebrated today. His virtuosity, musicality, and innovative techniques continue to inspire guitarists and audiences alike, making him one of the most influential and beloved guitarists of all time.